What do the following things have in common? This measuring tape, used to find the height of this dog. This ruler, used to measure the length of an egg. These calipers, used to find the size of this bird's leg. This metric ruler, used to measure a piece of roofing slate. And this car odometer, used to calculate the distance driven along a road. That's right. All these different things are used to measure length or distance. These devices can be referred to as measuring tools. As you know, a tool is an instrument used to make a job easier. The tools we just mentioned are used to measure length or distance. Chances are you've used some of these measuring tools in your home or school. During the next few minutes, we're going to take a look at the process of measuring length, with special emphasis on the safe and effective use of measuring tools in science. We're also going to discuss some of the tools used to measure temperature. But first, let's take a look at some of the different measurement systems. Depending on where you live in the world, height can be described in different units. For example, if you live in Canada, you might describe your height as being 178 centimeters. But if you live in the United States, a person of similar height is described as being 5 feet 10 inches tall. Length in the English system of measurement is measured in units of inches, feet, or yards. And large distances are measured in miles. Most other countries in the world use metric units of millimeters, centimeters, or meters to measure length. You decide. In what metric units are long distances measured? Large distances are measured in units called kilometers. Metric units are also used in science to measure length and distance. The metric system is regarded as the international system of measurement and is used by scientists throughout the world. The metric system is also the system of measurement used in your school science classroom. The basic unit of length in the metric system is the meter. Most students your age are generally 1.5 to 2 meters tall. This tool, called a meter stick, is 1 meter long. Larger objects, such as furniture and the length of swimming pools, are measured in meters. Smaller units, called centimeters, are more useful for measuring shorter lengths. Your fingernail on your smallest finger, for instance, is about 1 centimeter long. There are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. These chickens are about 30 centimeters tall, and this animal skull has a length of 11 centimeters. Smaller objects are measured in units called millimeters. You decide. How many millimeters are in 1 centimeter? There are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. Kilometers are commonly used to measure larger distances in the metric system. There are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. Now remember, a measurement consists of 2 parts, the number and the units. A number without a unit is meaningless. For example, this flower has a width of 5.3 centimeters. Therefore, we need to record both the numbers, 5.3, and the units, which in this case are centimeters. We already mentioned a common tool used by scientists. and one which is most likely in your science classroom, a meter stick. There are 100 centimeters on a meter stick. Meter sticks are used for measuring things that are too big to be measured with a smaller metric ruler, seen here. Metric rulers are usually 15 to 30 centimeters long. They're useful in measuring the length of smaller objects to the nearest millimeter. Another tool used by scientists to measure length are calipers. Calipers consist of two arms, which are placed around an object, such as this grapefruit. The distance between the arms represent an object's length. You compare. How might calipers be easier to use than a metric ruler? Calipers are useful in measuring things such as the diameter of this tree trunk that are otherwise more difficult to measure with a metric ruler. Metric tape measures are used to find the length of larger things, such as the height of a small cliff or the width of a stream. An instrument called an odometer is useful when measuring longer distances. Cars possess odometers, which measure distance in kilometers or miles. Technological advances now enable the use of lasers to very accurately measure length and distance. Using metric rulers is a lot of fun. They're easy to use if you follow a few simple rules. First, some metric rulers have English units along one edge and metric units along the opposite edge. Make sure you're using the edge containing metric units. On some rulers, especially those which have been used a lot, the end can become damaged and difficult to read. For this reason, it's often necessary to line up the edge of the object being measured with the 1 centimeter mark instead of the 0 mark. If you do this, just remember to subtract 1 centimeter from your final reading. When measuring objects, try to do so on a flat surface, such as a lab table or desk. Most metric rulers are numbered in 1 centimeter increments. The smaller lines indicate millimeters. Let's say we want to measure the length of this feather from the tip of the quill to the end of the feather. First, we'll carefully align the tip of the quill with the 0 centimeter mark. Let's flatten out the feather and straighten it right alongside the ruler. Next, look straight down on the ruler so you can see exactly how the marks on the ruler line up with the end of the feather. The end of the feather goes past the mark of 12 centimeters, but it falls short of the 13 centimeter mark. Just stating that the feather has a length of 12 centimeters is not making as accurate a measurement as possible. You observe. At what millimeter mark does the feather line up? That's right. It lines up with the second small line past 12 centimeters. This means the feather has a length of 12 centimeters and 2 millimeters. We can also say it has a length of 12.2 centimeters. Because the metric system is a decimal system, meaning that it's based on the number 10 and multiples of 10, we can easily express fractions, such as fractions of centimeters, as decimals. So, 2 millimeters is really 2/10 of a centimeter, or 0.2 centimeters. Remember, when recording a measurement, it's not only important to correctly record the number, but it's critical to record the unit as well. If you've ever read the weather forecast in the newspaper or heard a weather report on the radio, you're undoubtedly familiar with air temperature. In the United States, temperature is reported in degrees Fahrenheit, where water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit and water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. In countries using the metric system, temperature is not usually recorded in degrees Fahrenheit, but in degrees Celsius. On the Celsius scale, water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius and it boils at 100 degrees Celsius. You decide. What is this instrument and what's its purpose? This, of course, is a thermometer. Thermometers are used to record temperatures. There are several different types of thermometers. Traditional thermometers, such as the one you may have at your home or in your science classroom, consist of a glass tube containing a liquid and a scale of numbers. As the temperature fluctuates, the liquid expands and contracts, moving up and down the glass tube. Another type of common thermometer is a digital thermometer. You may have seen digital thermometers in cars or on thermostats in buildings. Digital thermometers operate not by liquid expanding and contracting in a glass tube, but via electronic temperature sensors. Let's now take a few minutes to demonstrate how to use a traditional thermometer in a science lab. Before we actually discuss the use of a thermometer, let's review a few safety points. Most traditional thermometers are made of glass, which can easily break if dropped. When not using a thermometer, put it in a safe place where it won't fall or get knocked off the table. Never use a thermometer as a stirring rod. This can crack or snap the thermometer. And always wear safety goggles when measuring the temperature of hot substances or chemicals. If a thermometer should break, tell your teacher immediately. Do not touch the broken glass or the liquid that was once inside the glass tube. Let's say we want to measure the temperature of this bowl full of cooling Jell-O. Carefully place the thermometer in the bowl. Notice how the liquid in the thermometer is rising. Wait until the liquid has stopped moving before recording the temperature. Position yourself so you're at eye level with the top of the liquid, and move the thermometer so it's straight up and down. Twist the thermometer so that you can see a broad band of liquid inside the glass tube. Take your reading. If the liquid is halfway between two lines, then add half a degree to the number below the level. You observe. What's the temperature? That's right. The temperature is 36½ degrees. Remember, when recording your reading, don't forget the units, which in this case are degrees Celsius. During the past few minutes, we've explored some of the interesting aspects of measuring both length and temperature. We began by examining the various units of metric length, including millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. And we discussed some of the tools used for measuring length, including meter sticks, metric rulers, calipers, and odometers. More specifically, the use of a metric ruler in measuring the length of objects was demonstrated. A brief comparison between the Fahrenheit scale and the Celsius scale was made. Some of the various tools used to measure temperature were highlighted. And finally, the specific use of a traditional thermometer was demonstrated. So, the next time you need to measure the length of something, or look at a thermometer to see what the temperature is outside, think about some of the things we've discussed during the past few minutes. You just might look at the process of measuring length and temperature a little differently. Fill in the correct word to complete the sentence. Good luck, and let's get started. Number 1. Scientists use the system of measurement. Number 2. The is the basic unit of metric length. Number 3. The distance between 2 and 3 on this metric ruler is a Number 4. There are 1,000 meters in 1. Number 5. A measurement includes a number and a Number 6. This paper clip has a length of centimeters. Number 7. In the metric system, temperature is recorded in degrees. Number 8. This instrument is a traditional. Number 9. If a thermometer breaks, immediately tell your And number 10. When reading a thermometer, position yourself at with the top of the liquid.